And that was a big lesson for us because it was better because designers and developers went from being just people who bought things and marketed them to people who had to understand and solve problems throughout the whole process. So they became process engineers, every one of them. Every problem they have, everything they couldn't do, they went back in because they knew the guy growing it, they knew the guy spinning it, they knew they had to change the way it was dyed or finished, and they knew what the limitations of those fibers were. It was a huge change in the way the company developed products. Designers were much more intimate with the whole process. Sales and satisfaction increased, not a problem. Same with the development of recycled and recyclable polyester products. Previously, things that were thought impossible, technical barriers, just fell away as we explored the whole process and what might be possible if we look for advantages here or there, not just in the beginning raw material. And we end up creating products that, again, were superior. Again, more intimacy with the process was required and provided knowledge that made the products better. Now, it's no joke, there are hundreds of examples like this at Patagonia. Environmental constraints, as they were once known, are now looked at as a larger, more inclusive view that provides more knowledge about the whole. And knowledge, turns out, is never limiting. Look at it a little bit differently. A lot of people have talked about this view already this morning, but this is a graph of it. So if you look at what I would call a normal product, has fairly high costs and fairly low sustainability or environmental value. And the first thing you end up having to do when you want to reduce your environmental footprint is add things like restricted substances list to your development process. And this is a big hurdle for a lot of companies. They look forward and go, gosh, I want to do the right thing, but it's just too expensive. And they're right. Approaching it in that way is very, very difficult. It's not until you get past that hump and start designing for sustainability, some of the examples I just showed and many, many others, where we're looking not necessarily at, if I use a recycled polyester, it's more expensive than regular polyester. We all know that. It's going down, but that's just the way it is. So we have to go in and dive into the entire process and look for opportunities throughout it and end up coming out with maybe a better quality product of higher value and the total cost is lower. Turns out generally that's possible if you look at the whole thing. And that's where Patagonia is today. I can tell you they're a very profitable company with very high margins, and they're doing a very good job at this. And of course, ultimately, you want to get to full systems integration where you're not really saddling the customer with the molecules of the product. They just get the service that it provides out of it, and then somehow it goes back into another cycle again. It's at this point that the real definition, to me, of sustainability happens, because something can't be more expensive if it's sustainable. It has to be more efficient, and costs have to go down as a result. But that trick of getting it to the point where everything is getting recycled requires different kinds of products. And a step toward that was this now famous ad. How many of you saw this ad in the... Awesome. It was an ad that announced Patagonia's Common Threads initiative. It's a wildly successful campaign to get people to repair and recycle Patagonia products. It was put in the New York Times on Black Friday, full-page ad. When everyone else was advertising to purchase garments, we put out this ad that said, "Don't buy this jacket." Patagonia's beefed up its service and repair departments and has even created an eBay site where customers register and then we help them. We actually have a bunch of customer service people that will help you post your products on an eBay site so you can resell your used garments. And they're taking it one step further now so that they're going to merge the eBay site with the Patagonia website where the majority of our sales are. And as you're shopping or as you check out, you'll be presented with used options that are similar to the one you're buying as an option for you to not buy this product that you're getting ready to buy on our catalog. It's pretty wild. But so far it's working. A lot of people question, whether or not this is just marketing, but I think it's a sincere effort to turn around the apparel industry, which is run to cheap, fast fashion. It's not sustainable for the earth, for workers, for factories, or even the companies themselves. Apparel companies are struggling to stay in business. As a whole, the industry should be selling fewer products at higher value and getting to this point where people are actually willing to pay more for a very high quality garment that they trust, that if it ever has a problem, they can send it back, or they can get it back into a loop or sell it used and get a replacement, that it's a very trust-based, high integrity system is where we have to get to. To us, it's a model for how we climb out of big mess that Patagonia is involved in. We sell a lot of garments, millions of them, and that's a problem. If we're going to try and do something about the sustainability of the planet, we are a big part of that problem. So we have to figure out a way to turn that battleship around and turn these into value provision to customers, not necessarily chewing up the earth in the process.